Hey, it's your boy Bonte83 for Successful Convicts, and you know what time it is. You know what time it is. It's time for another Tales from the Pen with your host, Bonte83. Hey, it's Bonte83 with Successful Convicts, and if this is your first time here, make sure you hit that subscribe button, and also make sure you like this video because you're going to like this tale from the pen. Now, this tale isn't actually from the pen or from prison, but it's from the county jail. County jail is where you go before you go to prison or to the pen. Or if you got short time, like they call winehead time or crackhead time, then you might just do your time in the county jail. So it's along the same lines. Now, seeing that I did my time up here in Minnesota, the state of Minnesota, they don't have a MCC or what they call a Metropolitan Correctional Center, and that's usually where the federal inmates go when you catch a Fed case. So up here, what they do is they'll send you to the different county jails, and you know, for the larger county jails, they have the federal inmates will wear a certain color and the state inmates will wear another color. Whereas when I was in Anoka County Jail, in Anoka, the feds wore the tan jumpsuits and the states wore the green jumpsuits. So that's how they differentiate the different inmates. So they had also the fed inmates was on the top tier and the state inmates was on the bottom tier. So that's just kind of like how they separated the two, even though we was all in the same. But a lot of the little smaller townships and counties and stuff like that, they didn't have real big cells, counties and stuff like that. So what they would do is they was, you know, they'd send like 3 or 4 of you over to this county, 3 or 4 over to this county. So today's story goes to Chisago County, which is in Chisago, Minnesota, or in that county anyway. They got the city named Chisago and also the county. So anyway, this county jail was a small county jail. It held about, I think the unit I was in held about 10 people. It was a few cells. They had a few cells, maybe I want to say like 6, 7 cells. So now in the county jails, it's usually county inmates. Then when they start incorporating, putting the federal inmates in, the federal inmates was looking at more time. So when we hit these county jails, we looking at like 5+ years, because that's about the lowest federal sentence. You know, I know if you went on a bank robbery with a note, you was looking at 5 years, and then plus with the drug, with the mandatory and minimum sentences, the lowest mandatory minimum you would get was a 5-year sentence and a 10. But for the most part, people of color, that is, was looking at 10 years plus. So anyway, I said that to say, when we start hitting these county jails, you know, county jails wasn't really set up for people doing time. I mean, you had your people coming in there that was doing time because they was drying out for the weekend, or you had the ones that had to do a couple days in the county for maybe little traffic offenses or whatever. So now you get these federal inmates that's coming in, and granted, we ain't been sentenced yet, but we looking at time like 10 years at the least. So we coming in with a whole nother mentality than these little weekend warriors that's coming in. They got to go do 3 days in the county jail for, you know, DUI or whatever, stuff like that. So we was in this county jail. So we started getting the guards, because they said, this is what the guards used to always tell us. Oh man, you federal guys, the federal inmates, y'all are more well behaved. y'all matters, because you know, you get a guy coming in for the weekend. You know, he from this small town. He know all the police, so he come in cocky with an attitude. He talking crazy. He being reckless. You know, he throwing his tray out the window and doing all that type of stuff. But man, we looking at like, man, I'm not trying to make my. I'm looking at 10 years. I'm not trying to come in this, you know, come in the system, which is what we was thinking. A lot of us thinking, you know, you come in and you're gonna make your time even harder before you even get sentenced, because when you're going through the court system, all of that kind of like plays into your sentencing. So nobody's really not trying to add on if they don't have to that sentence, especially not on no petty stuff. So anyway, so we got the guards to get us board games. You know what I'm saying? They was getting us books because they started to see, like, man, these guys looking at doing a lot of time. Let's make them, you know, more comfortable as we can so that they don't become a problem for us. Because, I mean, think of it. You're a guard in this little small town, and all of a sudden they start incorporating these guys that's looking at a lot of time. It could go bad. You know, you got a guy in there that's looking at 10, 20 years, and you come in there, you know, you got your little job. You've been doing this for like 5, 10, 20 years, and you ain't never really had no problem. You ain't never really dealt with this type of person. And now you got these people coming, and they not from around there. They don't know you. They ain't grow up with you. They kids didn't go to school with your kids. Now you got a different mentality. So they got us these board games. So this is where it gets crazy. So we started playing these board games, of course, Monopoly, and then that's where I got on the game Risk. Now, I don't know if you ever played Risk, but Risk it's like a army game. You got to build up your armies, and then you attack the other people. So now we in this little small unit, and I'll never forget, I can't remember this guy's name, but we called him Hogan. I swear to God, this guy looked just like Hulk Hogan. Like, let's say Hulk Hogan started doing meth, and he got off his square a little bit. He didn't have a lot Hollywood razzle dazzle, but this dude looked just like Hulk Hogan if he had just started smoking meth. He wasn't all methed out at the time, but he looked just like he had the orange skin. He could, no joke, without a doubt, pass for a Hulk Hogan lookalike. Like, if Hulk Hogan was to go on tour, this would be the guy you would want as the decoy while all the fans follow him, and then the real Hulk Hogan goes somewhere else. So anyway, we had a couple natives in there too, because, you know, all throughout Minnesota they got reservations, and I don't know if you know this, but anything that's done on a reservation is automatically federal. So you had a lot of those native guys that was in there for, you know, breaking and entering, stealing out of store. You know, everything goes federal on a reservation. So everything they do, they going to, you know, they going federal. So anyway, these guys, this was a couple of them. They was outside the reservation or whatever. But it was this one guy. He was Caucasian and native. Okay, but he wanted to identify with his native side. So it was a couple other native guys in there, and they was like known in the reservation for like being bad. One guy was in our unit, his brother was in another unit, then his I think his auntie was in the women's dorm, then his sister came in. So that, you know, he come from that bad ass family, you know what I'm saying, where they all was like criminals and getting in trouble and stuff like that. So this guy, he was European and native, Caucasian native. He wants to identify with his native brothers, who he said was his cousin. So, long story short, let me get into the story. So we playing Risk. And this was actually funny. We playing Risk. And this dude was always talking crazy, just like extra. And to me, I didn't really think he was really about that, but, you know, he kept running his mouth. So one day, we playing Risk. He builds up his army. So it's like maybe 5 or 6 of us playing Risk. He decides to take his army and wipe Hogan out. So when you start battling somebody, I don't really remember exactly how to play it. I just remember you roll the dice and they roll the dice. and your dice, you know, the numbers on your dice take out the numbers on his dice, which signifies how many of his men you take out. So he rolling the dice. He going against Hogan. So he rolling the dice. Boom. Hogan army is thinning out. He taking them out. And Hogan is getting hot. Hogan is getting mad. All of a sudden, Hogan just say, "Why you attacking my army, bitch? You got all these other people on here. You attacking me." So he like, "Man, you know how the game go." And he like, "No, fuck that." So they get to arguing. Hogan's like, you know, it goes from the game to what they're doing in real life. "I'll beat," and you know, he had the deep voice like Hulk Hogan. "I'll beat your ass." So Hogan gets to going after him. He's like running around the table. So Hogan is actually chasing him around the table. Now we sitting there looking like, damn, this the dude that been talking all this stuff, and he running from Hogan. So as he goes around the table, Hogan behind him, he breaks for it. He runs to his cell. So when he gets to the cell, Hogan right on his tail, he slams the cell door. Boom! He slams the cell door so hard that it don't even catch. It just boom, and it opens back up. As it opens back up, his eyes is like this big, and he like, and Hogan thinking that he slammed it, you know, caught him off guard because the cell door slammed but opened back up because he slammed it so hard. Then he reached out there and closed it. Man, that was the funniest. That was one of the funniest things I ever seen. Like as far as a fight go, like it just went all wrong. Dude was like, he went from like the tough guy in the little unit to the straight like female. Like Hogan disrespected him so bad after that. Like he didn't get no respect. Like he used to talk all this tough stuff about what he was doing on the street and how he had did this and how he had did that. After that day, when Hogan shut him down, it's like he came out, when he came out for his little food in the morning for breakfast and for chow, because they had to sit the trays out on the table. He'd come out, he'd be real quiet, he'd sit on the end of the table, and Hogan just used to just talk just crazy, reckless to him. Like, "I ought to take your juice, you little bitch." Like, and nobody felt sorry for him because he had been talking to all that stuff all that time. And it's just like when Hogan used to just like, you know, brush him off and talk crazy, was still talking crazy to him, he wouldn't even say nothing like, "Yeah, okay, all right." He's like, "What? What?" And he'd just be like, "Man, I didn't say nothing." But yeah, man, that's how it goes down. One thing about in prison, you running your mouth, I don't care how big you are, how small you are, how old you are, how young you are. Somebody's going to test you. Somebody's going to test out that mouth. Somebody want to see if you really about what you're talking about. But, you know, the best thing to do, if you're on your way in, like say you caught a case and you're about to go in and you watching this and you want to, oh man, I want to listen to these stories from the pen so I know how it is. The main thing is respect. Respect yourself first and foremost, and respect others, and you shouldn't have no problem. You know what I mean? Respect goes a long way too, because if you snitching, if you doing the 6ix9ine, that's not respect, because you're not respecting another person. Because yeah, you did this and you did that, and you might even did it with him. But if you want to tell something, tell what you did. Don't tell what he did. Keep his name out your mouth. Like, you know, you always hear people say, "Man, keep my name out your mouth." Keep everybody's name out your mouth and tell on yourself. Or exercise your right to be silent. You have the right to remain silent. Ain't that what they always say on TV? Ain't that what I always say when you get caught? You gotta, if they read you your rights, but you have the right to remain silent. But long story short, keep your respect by just being who you are. You know what I'm saying? You don't gotta go in there being a tough guy. You know, everybody, you know, want a mean mug and be the tough guy. You don't gotta be that person. You know what I'm saying? Some people, that's truly who they are, and that's fine and dandy. If they the tough guy, let them be the tough guy. But you be who you are. If you the tough guy, hey, be the tough guy. Be the tough guy. But know that somebody is gonna come in or somebody's going to be there who figures they're tougher than you, and they can't wait to show you. Can't wait. Like, ooh, I can't wait. So I'm just waiting for that time. It's going to be that time when you're going to be rooting for the Minnesota Timberwolves, and they just going to be rooting for the Atlanta Hawks just because you're rooting for the Timberwolves and the Timberwolves is playing the Hawks. You're going to like it cold, and they're going to like it hot. So they're going to want you to close the window. It's just going to be that one person that want to test you. And sometimes it ain't even the tough guy to get tested. Sometimes it's the everyday average guy that somebody just want to mess with. And I've seen a lot of times where that guy get out on the tough guy and shut the tough guy down. Now he's looking like, you know. But that's in future stories from the pen. So if you're new to this, or if you haven't yet, subscribe to the channel. Then, of course, you like this video, right? Like the video and leave me a comment. Even if you didn't like it, hit the like button because it stands for dislike too. Or hit the dislike. I forgot you got the thumbs down. Hit the thumbs down if you didn't like it. And leave me a comment on why you didn't like it, so I know what you want to see. Or if you just want to leave me a comment telling me about what you want to hear, or what you heard, or whatever. But leave me a comment. And that was your story from the pen.
Hey, no, no, no.